came to shooting, we focus. Won't miss, that's culture. Check. Can't break down if we rowling. Won't quit, that's culture. Check. It's a trend, the moment we in motion. Legit, that's culture. Check. Speak loud, no wonder we boating. We lit, that's culture.
Check. What up, world? Welcome back to another episode of Culture Check. We are zooming. The reason why we're in Zoom is all because of Brooke's fault. Where are you at, Brooke, right now?
Well, yeah. You know, I had to be the one to move away, so it is what it is.
All the way from Pennsylvania.
Jersey.
You were just in Pennsylvania, I thought.
I work in Philly.
You know what?
But I
They
live
all New York, Philadelphia, and Jersey are all one state.
It's like different. So I live in the tri-state area.
True, but oof. Yeah, it's your fault we're on this Zoom call now instead of just being all together. But hey.
Well, we'll make it happen soon.
Oh yeah, that's gonna come.
I'll be down in November, so we can we'll get some content out for y'all.
That's true. So, Brooke, what are we getting into today, though?
Oh, what aren't we getting into today? Number one, let's just talk about the story of today. What's today? What's the date? 10/2/2020. On this day, Trump has COVID-19. What do y'all think about that? I mean, for me, I just feel like it was just something was bound to happen. I just knew he was going to get it at some point. All the stuff that
I don't know. But what makes you say that, though?
Because I feel like he was just talking so down on it, but he's just like, kind of like, oh, it is what it is type of attitude. Like, if people get it, if people die, like, it is what it is. So it's like, he had no, like, care about it. So it's like, now you got it. So hopefully he can learn from it and he can actually see what people are going through and experience, like, the COVID that people are actually experiencing, so he can have more sympathy. Or who knows what's going to happen to him? Because last thing I heard is he was in the hospital. So
you think it's karma, basically? I
think it's karma. I think what goes around comes around. The energy you put out, it'll come right back to you. And I feel like it's coming back to him right now. And everyone that was in the office with him had a part in this whole thing. So, and they might have it too. So it's kind of like a karma thing. Like, y'all all gonna get it now because y'all are doing all this extra stuff and talking all that smack and not doing your job as leaders. And now look at y'all might have COVID. So,
I mean, look, I'm at the point now where I think he probably been had it, in my opinion, and they just kept it under wraps. I thought that from the beginning. As soon as the COVID outbreak came out, I was like, okay, Trump probably already got COVID before.
Do you think he would have it, like, and still have a debate like that? Because I feel like because the debate, he was in the facility with other people, you know?
Well, that's another issue to it. So if he had it beforehand, like, and he went to the debate, and now all of a sudden it came out, what does that say? Who knows? But the man had a debate, and we're gonna get into that later. But the man had to still show up for his debate.
I couldn't even watch the whole debate.
Nobody could. Nobody could.
Bruh,
I just never seen such a thing before. I'm not surprised at how I wasn't like, oh, why is this going on? Because, like, it's Trump, and, like, but no offense, like, Biden's not the best either. So it's like having them two in a room going at each other like that. It was kind of just like.
Well, let me say that Biden kept his composure, I would say.
He did, but he
Trump
did.
is the type
you had a little bit.
You said what?
He did feed into, like, the arguing and bickering for like little things. Like, he
had to though. He had to for a little bit because look who you're debating against. You have to kind of feed in and kind of come back. When he said, "Will you shut up?" I was like, "Thank you." There we go. Say something. Be strong. I understand you want to show the people that you know you're composed. You know how to control yourself. But when it comes to this guy, sometimes you just got to let him know, hey, it is what it is. Because that man was out arguing like a child, cutting Biden off.
He's been a child for the past 4 years, so I'm not really surprised.
But when people voted for this man, and as you see it, well, let me not call no one out. I'm not trying to be. I don't even like to get into
they voted
politics.
for him, so you're not really calling people out.
I mean, yeah, but it's just, they're like, oh, well, Trump it is. Look, he's a great businessman, in my opinion, if you want to give him that, cool. But as far as the presidency, in my opinion, that's where I was like, can't quiet right now. I don't know.
Because I mean, I have. It's really one of those things where all you got to do, if you want to find out about this man's resume, we got a major search engine out here called Google. And you can find everything you want to find on this man. So if you were surprised at how he was going to act in the debate and during his presidency, I don't know. I'm not shocked at how he's carrying himself throughout the whole thing. We know this man's resume. We know his work. We've seen it. So you can only expect what you're going to expect. And that's what he's doing now.
You know what's funny? I said this before on my Instagram because I feel like this needs to be done like going forward. In order to run for president, there needs to be like stricter guidelines, like an age limit. There needs to be like a I'm being serious. Like there should be a cap of like at least like 55. It's like maybe 60. Like it's like the oldest you can run for president. Because I feel like having these old people run our country, it's just like you're running a country full of millennials, and like you can't have like I don't know. I'm just saying. I feel like they should have an age limit. They should take assessment tests, like mental tests, before they can run for office. And if they are running for office, if they don't mention, how can I word this? Like, they can only talk about what they can do to help the people. If they start bringing up things that aren't relevant to being a president, like what's going on right now, you should be disqualified from running for president. Like, it should be about the people. It shouldn't be about like bringing up dirt about someone else. Like, it should be like, oh, I'm here to help the people. Well, and if you don't focus on that, I feel like you should be like eliminated out the whole running to be president. You know, I feel like that's fair because I feel like as a president, you're supposed to be helping the people, or at least be for the people and give things, oh, I'm here to help you. Like, I feel like it's just been a bunch of like childish, like immature, like back and forth, like, oh, like this dirt on this person, this dirt on that person. Like, who cares? Like, what are you going to do to help the people? And I feel like, you know?
Okay, I see what you're saying. But that also goes for just who's in Congress. That goes for the governor, all the senators, all that stuff right there. They are all older people. So we got to get, if you want to talk about age limit, you got to go throughout the whole.
No, I'm talking about everything. I feel like there should be an age limit for everything. Like, so I feel like if you want to be,
you got to retire at some point.
If you want to be progressive, I feel like you need younger people in office. You need younger people in Congress, younger people in the House, in the office. Like, there's a bunch of older people there. Like, and it sucks because people in the House, like, they can just be in the House until they die, you know? So, like, there's no, like, restrictions or, like, you can only be for, like, a certain amount of time, because I feel like there should be either a time limit or an age limit in Congress, too, or in the House, too, because presidents, I feel like, for sure, I feel like presidents, for sure, there should be an age limit for presidents, because you can't have an 80-year-old, 70-year-old running a country like that. Like, they're going to get stressed out, and they're not going to make it.
You didn't want Bernie Sanders or McCain when they were running for they were.
Look, man, I can tell you one thing. I think if you cap it off, and I don't want to be sounding like I'm age discriminatory or nothing. If you cap it off at 65, I could deal with that.
Yeah, 65. That's like my max of the max is 65.
Mm-hmm.
There are some like young, cool 65-year-olds like out there.
Yeah.
So, but like,
young, cool,
I feel like I feel okay. I have an idea. Okay, so
Miles, 65 is relatively young, bro.
Wait, I have an idea, guys. Okay, so maybe like if you're 55 or older, like 55, 65, you have to take like an assessment test, like to see if you're like worthy, like a mental.
Like
test.
what they do on a driver's.
Yeah, like a physical test to like see if you can even handle like the stress of like being in office. Like if you don't pass the stress test, you can't run for office if you're 55 or older.
Oh, now that y'all are saying that, actually, to bring this back up, because I did have to ask this question. Did any of you guys during the debate, did you guys hear anything talked about, any policies or anything that was going to make America better or quote unquote great again?
I feel like the mediator, what's the mediator's name that was doing it? I forget what his name was. I really wasn't paying attention.
Oh, Chris Wallace?
Chris Wallace?
Yes, Wallace, yes. I feel like he was asking questions, but like they weren't getting answered. Like,
well, I'll say they brought us some policies. They brought up some, so to speak, but it mainly was all just an argument. It wasn't even a debate. It was just mainly back and forth bashing. Well, not even back and forth bashing. It was really just one person just trying to keep on saying stuff. And I ain't gonna lie, even though this man, I'm like not with it with what he's doing, but he was making me laugh the whole time. That was a comedy show. I was laughing my butt from when his interest came up. You saw when he walked in.
I didn't even watch the beginning of it.
That man came in.
You know what it reminded me of? So I don't know if y'all watch this, but like the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Like, you know when like, okay, well, anyone who's watching, if y'all watch Real Housewives of Atlanta, like, you know when they like sit in a room and like they're at the dinner table and like one person brings up something and like they all just like going at each other. It's like comedy. It's just like they're bringing up dirt and then just like going. I felt like I was watching Real Housewives of Atlanta or like.
Someone said about Love and Hip Hop. It was
Love it.
related
It was
to
like,
It kind of felt like that.
political version. It was Trump really said he graduated at the lowest of the class. No, he was just coming at him.
they were just like going. It was funny, but it wasn't funny. Like I wanted to laugh because it was funny. Like when he was saying
I laughed.
it wasn't. But like in like the scheme of things, it wasn't funny. But like
looked
It
at
is-
it. I
Like,
looked
it
at
was
it,
just
but I
you
looked at it.
have to laugh about it.
Nothing productive came from nothing productive came from that debate. We have to just be honest with ourselves as American people. Nothing happened during that debate.
Nothing happened.
I feel like
Nobody got
the thing that
informed.
came out of it was like it changed people's perspectives. Not perspectives, but it's just like, oh shit, like this country is really fucked up.
Because everybody was watching this debate. I don't care
that's
what you
the
say.
that's the
Everyone.
only thing that like productive that came out of that. People were just like, oh wow, like American is really like, you know.
Well,
I wonder what other countries are thinking when they saw that as well.
But my thing is, I feel like other countries looking in, they can't. Yeah, it's America, but I feel like they should kind of like pinpoint it on like the leaders of America, because the people. I feel like the people around me, like in my everyday life, like we're great, but like I feel like the leaders of our country aren't doing a good job of representing us.
Well, you know what, Brooke, to answer that, a good friend of mine today, he made a perfect statement. Shout out to DJ, by the way. He said, we have to, as the American people, get people into understanding that these positions, president, senators, governors, all of those are public servant positions. So they are there to serve us. And we've made them feel as though they can get in there, have a big popularity contest, get as much money as they can, sit in the office positions, just hold them, make benefits off of their private and personal interests that they have with other major corporations and stuff like that. So they're no longer taking these as public servant positions. This is more so as
this is post Obama, right?
Well, not necessarily.
Nah. This could go for
Do you think
a long
Obama's like that, or is it more like the Republican Party?
I'm not.
Like,
No. I'm not specifically saying certain people. I'm just saying this process has been taking place. It's been building for a while.
The whole system.
Yeah, it's become a thing where it's just like, okay, these people get in here and they push what they need to push for their private interest or personal interest, or these big corporations or these bailout situations and so on and so forth. So they're really not doing anything for the people. Think about this. In a country that's supposed to have so much money floating around and so fluent with money, big stock market and everything, and when a crisis happens, the people are only able to, and I know there's levels to this, but the people are only able to get $1,200 after months of being in quarantine.
For unemployment,
And not everybody got it.
Exactly, Mom. Not everybody got it. In addition to that, $1,200 is not even enough we have to be honest, it's not even enough to pay.
Rent. That's 1 month.
Yeah, it's not enough to do anything. So
barely.
We look at the airlines getting bailed out. I saw that on news today. And there's a whole bunch of other things going on, but the people are taken care of inevitably last.
Yeah.
Well, and that's my thing, what you said about the whole system. Excuse me, Brooke, what you said about the whole, like, it's in this political system is all about bashing people, this and that, finding the dirt. That's the game, low key. And it's sad to say that's just how it's got to. They play it. We all know. I think the right mind person knows politics is nothing but fighting.
Something needs to change within the system. Like I feel like this system isn't working anymore. And like if you think about it, like our system is based off of something of rules and guidelines, constitution that happened 400 years ago. Like we're in a new era. This is 2020. This is not 1776 in Philadelphia signing the Constitution. Like we need to change something about either how the elections are ran, either political parties, like changing the parties and making, I don't know, I feel like Democrat and Republican isn't working anymore. I feel like there's so much gray area now. Like it's hard to like, because for example, I know like some Republicans who are Republican and are only voting Republican, even though Trump is in office, not because of Trump, because they're Republican, because they agree with the values. So it's like, there needs to be like a more of like a open gray area for parties, because I know a lot of people who only voted for Trump because they were Republicans. not because of Trump, because they agree with the Republican values. But my thing is like, yeah, you can vote for Trump, but I'd rather not vote at all. But people, those are people's excuses for voting Republican, for voting for that, which I understand. I see what their point is, but that's what I'm saying. There needs to be a different system in parties, how it's ran. Like something needs to change throughout the elections, and I don't know what can change, but something needs to change because it's not working anymore.
You know, you send a letter then up there to Congress, or you saw to DC or something. You give them your whole rundown of how you.
Well, Miles, I mean, in all fairness, look, Brooke is saying, look, we got to be honest with ourselves too. Again, and this is all historical facts, so I'm not saying nothing that's out the woodworks or my personal opinion. When this country was set up, when it started off on the very wrong foot from the beginning. So let's not act like, oh man, this country started off in perfect peace. It started off in perfect harmony. They wrote the rules and the laws, and we abide by them to this day because it was so perfect.
The Hamilton play?
The Hamilton play.
On Disney Plus?
Yeah. Alexander Hamilton.
I haven't seen it yet. They said it's really good to watch. It has to do with the American history.
But like the storyline, like, it kind of like gives you like how dirty like it was, like how they did things back in the day. So it's like.
They say it's good, but I think it's 2 hours. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah.
It's good though. Anyway.
Yeah, I have to say.
What'd you say, Cam? Go ahead.
No, I'm saying when we think about it, it started off all wrong. It started off actually with people already in bondage over here. You know what I mean? In servitude, or if you will, in slavery to people who were writing these laws, keeping those specific people out. And let's not forget, it was only 50, 60 something years ago that those same people just got their rights to be considered as humans in voting in America. So we're talking about a system that has already started off broken and is trying to repair itself, but has so much dirt and gunk and mud in it. So when people are trying to ask for, hey, we need a clean slate, clean start, you think people who have been in this country and born and bred in this country for 60 plus years want to hear a clean and blank start? Miles, that's like, have you ever played a video game, got to the last level, and then said, oh, because I had to start, because I died at level 3, I'm going to go all the way back to the beginning of the game now and try and clear it all up. It don't happen like that.
Right.
It sucks too. But if you think about, like, you're right, Cam, like, and just thinking about it too, like America was built on lies and stealing. Like you stole people from a country, then you went to another country and took a country from someone else. Like it's just built on lies and people stealing and taking things that aren't theirs and making rules because they think that they're entitled to something. That
and again, Brooke, just to throw a disclaimer out here for anybody who's watching that is not personal opinion. That is just historical fact. That's all it is.
Like I'm not making this up. If you read history, if you're into that and you like look up, it's just what happened. They stole people from their country.
As sorry as the history textbooks are in the schools today, as sorry as those history textbooks are in the school today, they still show that there was proof that this country was started off in a bad way. So let's just be honest. That just has to be laid out there on the table. And to really sit here and say, oh, we're still going to abide by those laws that were written back in that time when it was trifling then, and we still abide by them today. What does that say about us? What does that really say about us as a country?
Not trying to adapt to change or for embetterment. So it's like,
Miles, that's just a summation off of me looking at what it is. That's not my personal opinion. That's just saying what's historical fact and what I see.
Same.
That's just how it is. Well, Brooke, you mentioned something important, and it's like the voting aspect where you said don't want to vote. Correct me if I'm wrong. You said that you don't want to vote.
So in my Instagram story, I said that if something doesn't change for next election, I don't want to vote. I feel like at this point, I feel like we're at rock bottom in a way, and I feel like this is the chance for us to change something for 2024 elections. I'm voting. I'm voting not because I don't like Biden, I don't like Trump. I'm only voting to get ignorance out the office. It's not about me. It's not about the people. It's about the ignorance in the office. That's why I'm voting. I feel like that's why everyone should vote. Or I'm not saying why you should vote, but I feel like everyone should have their own reason why they are voting. And all I'm saying is this. I'm not saying I don't care about what's going on, but if something doesn't change for 2024, at least even the next 2 elections, if there's no progressive change to change how things are done in the running of office for 2024, if the candidates are just as bad as Trump, or like whatever, I don't want to vote because I feel like at that point, there's no point of voting if they're not going to listen to us and not want to change the way things are because things aren't being changed, you know?
Well, Miles, can we also say this too? Even though, look, and I always hear the phrase, "Oh, pick the lesser of two evils," so on and so forth. Look. Just bump that. Aside from that, I'm just voting to get somebody who's, in basic political terms, qualified to be in there. This man,
he's not the best.
You know what I'm saying? The president we have currently has no political track record via senator.
That's what I'm shocked at.
So we just need somebody in there who's qualified, number one. Number two, we need an adult in there. That's number two. And you really cannot. Now I understand there are going to be some people who vote for Trump. Hey, hats off to you. Do what you want to do. It's America, obviously. But when you look at it, the people who did vote for him, I would want to ask them now. Yes, COVID is not his fault. Some things that happen are not his fault. True. But do you think just because having him in there was going to better your life?
But
that's the question I would have.
I will kind of put this out there with your statement, because I'm around a lot of Republicans, so I kind of just like lay low and just talk. I let them talk and I listen. A lot of them are for Trump for the business aspect of it, for their own business and for their own selfish reasons. And I feel like, yeah, Trump is good with business, but as a president, it's not about business; it's about the people. So it's like
that's exactly how I feel.
He's good for the business of America, which is great. But I feel like when it comes to the people, when you're a president, he shouldn't be a president. Like, a president's about the people. It's not about business. Like, he's good at what he's doing in his lane, but he shouldn't be a president because like he doesn't know how to do anything. He's selfish. Presidents shouldn't be selfish. He's selfish. He's greedy. He only cares about himself. So it's like,
I'll say he blatantly does it. I'm not gonna say no one else hasn't done it before, but he blatantly shows, look, this is how I am.
He's not a qualified presidential candidate. Maybe I don't, but then again, like, who is?
Look, wait. All I'm saying is we have a political record of some sort of this man Biden. We have no political record of this man Donald Trump at no time.
But I'm letting you know the reasoning as to why some people are voting for him.
And that's the reason why a lot of people will challenge you, though. A lot of people will challenge you because, yes, he's good with the economy. He's good with money. You know why? What makes this country, matter of fact, this world go round? The moolah. So a lot of those probably thinking, if I get someone who knows about money and economy, so they think, they'll put him in there and make everyone like the whole money.
That's why
that's the only reason why I'm saying. That's what I can rebuttal that.
I gotta interject that because I got a rebuttal to that too, Miles. Okay, well,
I'm just saying if they said it. I'm not saying it. I'm just saying.
I understand what you're saying, Brooke, and I understand what you're saying about the Republicans, what they're saying. But even then, how slow could you be? We have qualified economists that sit in Wall Street. Maybe we should vote for them to run for president because they seem to be good with money too.
I agree. No, I agree with him. I'm just saying what people are saying. I don't agree with that.
No, I get you, but my combat to that is like, well, we got economists who went to school to study economy. Here's a man who had, I believe, a trust fund and something else given to him by his father to start businesses and do so on and so forth. And we got people who go to school to study economics and study market trends. And we put him in there, oh, yeah, Trump's good at business. And so why is he working? So why is he not working in the stock market then, since he's so good at business and can turn it around?
I don't know.
Nobody can answer that one.
No, really can't. No, you really can't. And I'll probably say, oh, he could do it if he wanted to, but he chose to do this. He has the power and the whole thing on the money to all do whatever he wants, which is sad. But
he just took his celebrity status and used that to win the election, because there's no way in hell this guy would have been in office if he wasn't a celebrity. People would be laughing at him.
Look, I tell you what. From the other news sources that I watch over there, like in the UK and something like that, boy, America is the joke of the world right now.
Oh, this has been going on for the past what?
That's why
2016.
4 years. We're a joke. Countries are laughing.
I feel like at this point, everything that we can do, like as regular people, is worry about what's going on in our own lives and how we can how we can use our personal lives and our everyday lives to change what's around us. Like, I know for me, like, my biggest thing right now is having those open conversations and just open conversations with people who are different than me, and having those conversations and kind of like doing that part. And I feel like you can protest, you can have those conversations, you can, go help the youth. Like, I feel like at right now, because I feel like as Americans, like, we're all looking for these people to like do something for us, but like, you can do it yourself, like in your everyday life. You can help make a change too. Like, yeah, like our leadership sucks too, and like we can fix that eventually. But like what we can do right now, I feel like, is just focus on what we can do in our own personal everyday lives.
Ken, that basically goes off of what you were talking about earlier when we were all talking. Remember how you said about before you get to the whole worldly leaders.
The local
there
politics.
You go.
Yeah,
there you go.
we need. I think that's a conversation that needs to be had amongst the general public. Like, okay, look, guys, we understand. Yes, the presidential election is the biggest thing. It's nationally televised and so on and so forth. Cool, I get it. However, what affects you on a day-to-day basis, from even the stop signs that are put on the corner of your street, is local politics. So your local community politics, learning who your mayor is, and even lower than that, even learning who the local school officials are, the school authorities and whatnot. But again, I heard somebody tell me, "Oh man, that's boring." I understand. I totally get it. It's
Politics
very
is boring.
boring.
Period.
It's very boring. It is. But it's just like school. You had to get through it.
Yeah.
That's really much true. That's very much true. Well, so at the end of the day, we all know what we got to do. We obviously got to vote, especially right now.
Yeah,
So,
you have to.
Like, if you don't vote, then it's just like, why are you even in this country?
Well, a lot of people have that mentality. Like,
I'm just saying, like, when it comes down to it, it's just like, if you're living in this country and you have a job in this country and you have a house in this country and you're paying bills and you're legit a citizen in this country, you should be out there voting and trying to make a difference. Like, you're here, like, on this earth. You're not just here just like free escape and just do whatever you want. Like, you're here for a purpose and you need to do something with your life. And like, it starts with voting and being a good person and being kind to people. And I feel like people just want to, like, I feel like people are so privileged in America. They don't realize like the effect they actually have on people if they actually, contribute something positive to society, whether they're just like kind of just like doing whatever they want and just like, oh, whatever, it doesn't affect me, so I don't have to worry about it. Like,
Well, with that, it's also like when people say they don't want to, like, oh, I feel like my vote don't count anyway, so why should I do it? My thing is, you have that mentality. Well, if you feel like that, why not even try to just go out and do it? Why not even just try to do something? If you always have the mentality, anything else in the world where you feel like, oh, it ain't gonna happen, when people say, well, you'll never know unless you don't try. You should have that same mentality when it comes to voting, at least in my opinion, I should say. Just because you think your vote won't count, or you think, because there has been a lot of stuff going on, and even in this election, with all this mailing ballots, I believe there's going to be a big, like, fraud, or I'd be like, there's going to be a big
what you
mishap.
should do with that, sorry to interrupt you, what you should do with that, when you do request the mail-in ballot, fill it out at home and stand in line for 3 hours and turn it in at your local municipal building, wherever you can go to register to vote. Take that mail-in ballot and actually stand in line and hand it in if you really want to. Like, you don't have to mail it in. Like, there's other ways to go around it.
That's the thing. Because all this mailing stuff with this COVID. I
will stand in line for 6 hours. I don't care. I will put my vote in. I don't trust it.
I can tell you this though, as of 2016, I think what most people, what we saw most Americans were surprised at was people understanding how the electoral colleges and how the popular vote work. That was, I think, most Americans' time understanding, like, yo, okay, so wait a minute, they did this? When was this in place? Well, since the beginning. So it even ties back into what we talked about earlier about certain things that are age-old tradition that need to change, because we saw something like that determine the true outcome of an election.
Look at Bush and Al Gore. Al Gore won by popular vote, but Bush won by electoral votes. That's why he was in office.
We need to change that whole electoral college thing. I've been said that, because that thing makes no sense.
Makes no sense.
I'd be like, yo, how the hell? But,
it should be the people's vote, and that's it.
That's what you would think, bro. But I'm just like, yo.
Because we're the ones running this country. Like, we have people that are in power to manage things, but like, regular everyday people are the people who actually keep this country running. We're doing the 8 to 5 jobs and like doing those jobs to keep these 1% people in business. Like we're the people who are actually running this country, so we should have the 100% say in who should be running us in a way, who should be managing what we're doing.
Question right here, real quick for y'all, because I know on time, but it's like, I understand we have probably, like, I think there's 2 more of these presidential debates we got left coming up. I think there's 2 more. Oh my God.
I mean, honestly,
but
if Trump makes it the hospital,
shoot, they'll make it happen. But look, here's my thing. How do y'all feel about when I think Black Lives Matter got involved as a topic? How do y'all feel about that? I personally was like,
what do you mean? A topic as?
It was it was brought up like, how do they feel about the whole movement, basically, or everything that's going on in the country? So I was like, okay, I understand when they talked about diversity, but when he specifically said the topic is about Black Lives Matter or Black Lives Period, I was like, I don't know why. And I understand what it is right now. Trust me, I'm all behind it. But it's just like, I don't know why that had to be brought up at the presidential debate. I personally don't know why. I understand if you want to talk about diversity in the country and bettering everybody, cool. But as far as just talking about, let's just talk straight about Black Lives Matter. I was like,
hold up, Miles.
Because it's relevant.
I'm sorry to say that. I'm sorry to say that too, but actually that brings up another point. Did y'all hear when Chris Wallace asked Trump about denouncing white supremacy?
White supremacy.
So that's all political jargon, man. That's to just create, some sort of tension.
Exactly. It was all just targeting, just to do something.
And look what happened. It worked, because now people are talking about it on social media. Like it worked.
But that goes back to what you said about politics just being all like finding dirt and everything. That's all that was. Those questions.
My point exactly. I'm not saying what they were doing was right. I'm saying how messed up it is. Like the fact that I literally felt like I was watching like an episode of Real Housewives. I really was. Like I legit. So I was just watching it too the other day, and so I was just like, I'm legit watching like Nene and like Kim D go up against each other, and like yeah. If y'all know.
You watch that show? No, I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've never seen it before.
Oh my God. Okay.
A bunch of women fighting is what I saw.
You said a bunch of what?
A bunch of women fighting in that debate. That's what I saw.
Man. No, that and I'm glad every news anchor was on the same page of this was the worst debate they've ever seen. This was horrible.
A debate. I wouldn't even call it a debate. It was just like
a cat fight. It was an argument. It was a classroom fight. It was, oh my gosh. I was just, that man is funny.
Look, man.
I feel like there's no like description you can even put like to it, like what it was. Cause like I don't even know what it was. I really don't.
What they said was supposed to be a debate. That's the title of it.
So the title, but what it actually was just not, I can't even describe it. I don't think anyone, I was just shocked that like that was even like, the fact that people are even like putting them two on a podium to even talk like that. There needs to be someone in the middle of them really like saying like, okay, like why y'all talking about this? Like they need like a
that was Chris Wallace's job.
No, I'm saying in their personal lives, like Trump needs a no man. I feel like he has too many yes people. Like he needs someone in his ear be like, yo, you fucking up. Like what the hell are you doing, son?
Even if someone told Trump no, do y'all really think he's gonna listen?
But I'm just saying, like, you know, like
we gotta be honest. We gotta be honest again. America loves good TV. That was good TV for somebody who wanted to sit there and watch it. That was good TV.
That shouldn't be good TV. When it comes to our lives and our futures, like the fact that it has to be good TV, like that's the problem.
But that shows exactly what the mindset of America is right now. Ain't that crazy?
That's what I'm saying. They knew they were putting on a good show. It came out as good TV. The world tuned into it. It was awesome.
It was whatever. My thing is, I hate politics. Final thoughts about it?
All I'm saying is, if y'all don't vote this election, then you should just pack your bags and go move to Antarctica.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. I was thinking going to Canada or
No. If you don't vote, you need to take your bag. You need to walk there. Walk to Antarctica. Walk through the ocean and get to Antarctica. And
this girl said walk through the ocean. This girl said walk through the ocean. That's how bad it is. All I'm gonna say is just vote, man. Please, this is a big time. Even Snoop Dogg's voting for the first time. Just this is really where everyone just needs to vote.
He wasn't voting before?
Snoop, this was his first time ever voting, he said.
See, that's the problem.
Well, no,
People aren't voting.
but again, you're telling this to a people who came through a school system that didn't even put a focus on voting and what voting meant and what certain things that were going on in politics were. So you're talking to a school system of people in America by the masses who are not taught nor trained in politics whatsoever. So they're just going off of what they're able to on TV. So in other words, my final thoughts are, Miles, people, if you want to know about some of these politicians and whatnot and so forth, there was a Freedom of Information Act passed to where you can find out any information on these people via Google or your local library. If you want to find out, I wonder what they stand for and what they stand by, what they voted for in the past, just go and look it up. You can find it.
Cell phones do that now.
Yeah.
Also,
But you know what?
I will say this too.
I can't do that. I can't do that because a new album just dropped, so I can't go and look at what Donald Trump did. A new album just dropped. I can't do it. And there's a football game and a basketball game going on. I can't get in politics right now.
Yep, I agree.
Is that what you were gonna say, Brooke?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're gonna say?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, y'all just hit that's a nerve to the whole country. That's. Ooh.
I mean, Miles, look.
No, I'm just saying. I agree.
It's facts.
I agree.
It's facts, and I feel like
it is facts.
Things like that need to be said because people don't get it.
Yeah, I agree.
Facts.
Uncomfortable conversations. We need to have that all the time, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
And also, I will say this too. If you want to see change too, and not just voting, like the biggest change you can ever do, it might take time and investment and just growth, time over like years time. Invest in the youth. I feel like the only good thing about this right now is that we can, as our generation, because we're in I feel like from like our millennial generation and up, I feel like we can teach our kids how not to act. We can kind of break that system of the old ways in a way and teach our kids, okay, this is how it should be. You shouldn't be treating people this way because of the color of their skin or like just any type of like racial or like colorism, any type of like ism, like teach them like that's not how life works. And I feel like we need to start with our kids, start maybe mentoring our kids, our black youth too. I will say this, I feel like that's a huge thing right now for the Black community, like people like us. So because I had the privilege of not growing up in an area where I didn't have access to books and read. I had access to that. So like I'm gonna use what I have to help kids who don't have that. And I feel like all of us can kind of attest to that because we're blessed to have a life where we can actually like have access to things that people don't have access to in impoverished areas. So I feel like it's important for Black people like us to step up and show Black people who don't have that what you can be and what you should strive to be too. I feel like that's a huge thing, especially in the Black community. So I feel like we're not really coming together as we should. So I feel like, I was talking about this with my family the other day. Like we come from a family where we should be helping people who aren't privileged to have things that we have. Like we need to give back in that way to our community, people in office, like celebrities. Like we all been so blessed. So I feel like we really need to key in on our own community and really invest in our youth. So I feel like that's a really big difference that we should have. So
that's very true.
That's facts. Well, we're gonna end it on that. I think that's the best way to end it. Right there, cut to the chase. There it is.
So basically, to sum it up, Miles said vote, I said influence, and Cam said Google search.
No,
know your history.
I'm
just saying, not just Google search.
I'm just messing with you, Cam. I'm just messing.
Just find out information about these people. Look these people up. Look at their track record. It's easy to find.
Do your research.
That's all.
Exactly. Well, on that note, y'all, we are the Culture Check. Thanks for tuning in again. I'm Miles.
I'm Brooke.
I'm Cam, y'all.
We out, bro.